Good morning, Rabbi Isai. It's the new guys, sorry. Lili Nishma Simi Merosi Ruspas Mordechai. We have it from Eli Ganot. Your message. Hello, Rebelli. I got my friend to join. We used to play sports together. And I got him to join. This is us doing the daf together. Shout out to Duvi Weiss and Eli Ganot. And thank you for changing our lives. Look what we're talking about, Rabbi said. We're changing their lives. This is not a joke. Changing lives. 1 9-year-old, no, what are these? These are 12-year-olds. Big kids, Baruch Hashem. Wow, doing the daf. They used to play sports together. Well, again, they used to play sports together. Now they don't. Now they're doing the daf together. It's unbelievable. The dairis are just... Don't drop your sports, kids. Okay, so we have a Gala-sium. It's on all of Seder Moed. What's so special about the Siyum is not only the venue, the nicest venue that we have here in town, and the food, it probably costs close to 400 shekel a person. Obviously, it doesn't cost that much for you guys to come in. It's subsidized. But here's the thing. Since it's on Motzei Shabbos, and over 100 people are coming in from different countries, so it's going to be one of a kind. It's going to be something really special to get to know a lot of the people that are watching this year out of town, out of the country. And if you live here in Eretz Yisrael, please come. Don't let the money get in the way. If you can't afford it, you just go to Noam. Everything is taken care of. But everybody should come. If you live in the Shomron, you live in Lebanon, I don't care. Come. I know of at least 3 people that were here in Eretz Yisrael this past Sunday, and they're coming back for the Siyum. So if you're in America, you're thinking about it, please come. It's going to be a tremendous evening. Great music, great food, sushi, and everything else. So be there. Go to mdysiyum.com. There's an amazing website developed just for this. You'll see some crazy stuff, many options and add-ons. There's tiulim, and there's you get hosted by different people. There's meals here together. It's a whole mdysiyum.com. Check it out. This is what it looks like. It's a beautiful. What's that? Yeah, but if you really easy one is mdysiyum.com. This is to get into that. I know that there are a number of people that put in probably hundreds of hours so far just into the whole. By Avi Gargir. Ideas for swag. Bed sheets with a picture of Rafael. Pillowcases with a picture of Rafael. Towels with a picture of Rafael. Underwear. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to go there. Diapers with a picture of Ravelli. Big sticker to put on the ceiling of your bedroom with a picture of Ravelli. I have many more ideas. Please contact me if you want to hear more. He's the guy that makes your coffee. He's the guy it's unbelievable. That's you read this Hadaris. Yeshua never used to write me emails like that. It's terrible. Hey, Joel M. I accidentally accepted the free Gemara. This guy is from Monroe, New York. That's why I'm reading it. Monroe, New York. How do you say it? Monroe, New York. And he writes like this. Joel M., Monroe, New York, trauma survivor. Serious. Currently. I accidentally accepted the free Gemara Chagigah, meaning he got suckered into it. Amazingly, I'm still on course. A miracle. I would like to buy Maseches Chagigah. I need $1 off so I could get the obligation pushing me. Eini Maven L'shoinoi. Additionally, having a Gemara with the 8-minute daf logo would probably be a motivator, as well to show off. We don't recognize anything related to the internet. We are enjoying and condemning. You get it. I do. I have to admit, I cannot get the whole thing. Let me know. Anyway, Rabbi Yoel, we don't sell Gemaras, unfortunately. You could earn a Gemara if you get somebody to join MDY or Daf Yomi. Join dafyomi.com. Then you go to growtheshare.com and get a free Gemara. We only give them out for free. We do not sell them. That's one of the things. Can't get. Here we go. By Ben Bressel, we got together again for Moed Cotton, and at this time we added some flair. We asked our Rav from Chayodim in Boston, Brighton, to come and give some Divrei Torah. You know, my grandfather was a big Rav in Boston, Rav Savitsky, or Mordechai Savitsky. Give some Divrei Torah, and we got custom knives with our names and MDY logo, laser engraved. Yamen, Chananel, Nochum, and Yisrael with the Rav. Gewaldige guys here. I forgot to print it. Look at that. Look at that engraved knife. Look at that. Look at that. Gee, you want them here, so you know what to do. Those who want them, make them themselves, and they give them out to the Olam. Ben Bressel, we got together again for my continent. At this time we added. It's getting worse every day, Rabbi Isai. Somebody have a talk to him. What? You see the other side of the knife? Oh, there's another picture? I missed it. This month's Koil sponsor, Mr. Anonymous, Lili Nishmas Chayev Bas Yosef. Maseches Chagigah is dedicated by the Kessler and Davis families, Refuah Shelayma for Miriam Esther Bas Devora bekorov. Parents of Chodesh is zechus for Shlomo ben Lifsha and Rivka Bas Gila, that they should be zoche to Zera Shel Kayama bekorov. Parents of Chodesh, Shauly Rosenfeld, in memory of my dear friend Yehuda Augenbaum, something like that. I'm going to get it every day. In memory of my father's. By the way, this guy, Shauly Rosenfeld, 19 years old. He did a little deal, nothing like not $1 million, a little deal. Donated $2,600 this year. Surely. So, and he's coming in. He's flying in. He became a Groise Gvir. I think he made like $20,000. He said on Zoom. He doesn't cut that there's taxes and everything. After taxes, after he gave the 10% to MDY and his ticket, surely you gotta get with the program here. In memory of my father's 42nd yahrtzeit, Mordechai Yosef ben Aharon, Listhaus. So that I made a mistake. There was a Listhaus yesterday also, right? No? It was Dr. Allen? Oh, it's Dr. Allen. This is Dr. Allen. Okay, I got it. In memory of Mordechai Yosef ben Aharon, by his children, Beverly Fink, Dr. Allen Listhaus, Dr. Michelle Nordlich, Dr. Cindy Kombrinsky. Is this short enough? Yes. Jonathan Davydov. In memory of Bechor Davydov, penir, may the Neshama have an aliyah. By Nechemia Mordechai Seltzer, for the Refuah Shelayma, for the grandfather, Shmuel ben Rachel, who's going in for open heart surgery in a few hours. Refuah Shelayma. Rabbi Isai, today is Daf Tes Zayin, and we are holding like 5 lines from the bottom of Daf Tes Vav Amud Beis. Acher Mai. Why was Acher? Well, how did he go down like that? Says the Gemara, Zemer Yivani Lo Posak Mipumei. So you think it's referring to Goyish music. These are songs of the Yevanim. Rashi says it's because he wasn't makbid on the Churban Abayis. That was the issue. If you think about it, the Yevanim were our enemy. They wanted to destroy us, Torah, the whole thing. And he was singing their songs. There's a little bit of it's not just Stam, a guy, a niggin of a guy. This is the niggin of the enemy. Amru Alav Alacher. Says the Maharsha, he used to read Kfira. And what he would do is he would hide it in his garment. Then he came to Beis Medrash. And he got so involved in learning, he completely forgot what's going on. He would get up and these Sfarim would fall out of his pockets. Like instead of hiding it, he forgot what he's doing. And people would see the Sifrei Kfira.
So he used to hide the Sports Illustrated in the middle of the Gemara.
Yes, I remember Sports Illustrated. Yeah, but I'm not going to go. Yeah. Shoal Nimois. Nimois was a guy. Hagardis Remeir. Kol Amar Denoches Lior Solik. When you take wool and you put it into the vat with dye, isn't it going to get stained? Isn't it going to have the color? And therefore, isn't every Talmid Chacham that learned Torah, even though he goes off the derech, isn't that Torah still going to be there? Amalei. Depends. Kol man dehava noki agav imei solik. If a person is clean and pure since the very first day, since he left his mother, then you're right. Then the Torah sticks. Kol deloy hava noki agav imei loy solik. But those, like Daig and Achitoifel, or Acher, they had something wrong with them. Says Taisves. How come the Torah didn't save them? In order for Torah to stick, you have to have some Yirah Shamayim. Maybe not all. You have to have 5%, you have 1%. When you have 0 Yirah Shamayim, then all the Torah that they learned, they're the greatest of the great, the Torah doesn't stick to somebody that doesn't have Yirah Shamayim. Now, let's just go back to Amud Aleph for a second. Taisvis that we started Taisvis Daf Tesvav Amud Aleph. So the Taisvis says something very interesting. All the way in the bottom, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, like lines from the bottom. Va'amru loy l'remeir. Rabach Ivish, your Rebbe Acher is dying. He's very sick. Ozal Gabei levakurase. He went. This is all Yerushalmi. The whole Taisvis is Yerushalmi. Different reasons. One of the reasons I didn't mention yesterday, Taisvis says, is because Acher saw somebody climb up a ladder to retrieve the Shiluach HaKan, to do Shiluach HaKan, and he fell off the ladder and died. He says, it's a steer to what it says in the Torah that you can have a Riches Yom. Another reason why he went off the ladder.
Wasn't his son?
No. Oh, you're talking about, no, before the Taisvis was talking about the father, the father said that he wants him to do Torah, but no, this is about Acher. Says Taisvis. And the last, as he's dying, do tshuva. Are they going to accept me? You see, your mayor holds like all those Rishonim. This is maybe where the Rishonim get it from. Anybody can do tshuva, even Acher that heard from Achor Pargid Chutz Ma'acher. By the way, Mendy told me a beautiful word. Since I'm here, I might as well say it. It says, Shuvu bonim shoivivim Chutz Ma'acher. That if you are a ben, then you can do tshuva. But if you're an acher, you act like you don't belong. There's no tshuva for somebody else that doesn't act like a son. You have to act like a son. You have to feel like a son. Yeah, something like that. Givaldik. We stuck in it. So sorry. But everybody can do tshuva. Bechor Elisha, Taisus calls him Elisha, not Acher. Interesting. The Yerushalmi v'niftar, and he died. Omer Meir doimish mitoch tshuva niftar. This is what Noam was saying yesterday. It seems like he died within tshuva, maybe doima. Fine. Now let's go back to where we're holding. 2 lines from the bottom. So we're done with Acher now. Rebbe Kiva, Allah b'shalom, Yar b'shalom. How is Rebbe Kiva zoche to go in there to the pardes, look around, and not be nizuk? Well, Rebbe Kiva bikshu malach eshor l'dachvay. Rebbe Kiva also, the malachim wanted to push him, get him out of there. This elder is deserving to use my honor, my dorash. How did he know? How did he know not to peek? Where did he know? Maybe Matratron is Hashem, Kaviyachol, and Hashem is something else. Maybe he looked. How did he know not to look at Hashem? Omar Rabbi Chana, Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Va'asa, Hashem is going to come. Mirive V'is Kodesh. Oisu B'Refuah Shelayma. There's a siman. There's a certain sign. It's interesting. Rebbe Kiva darshan in the pasuk, and with that was his map. It wasn't stam a shtickle Torah. This is how he acted in his life. He took his shtickle Torah, and he went up to Shemayim with it. And he's, there's going to be, I learned in a pasuk that there's a siman. When I see something different, I know not to look over there. Again, there's, again, when you see it, you know not to look. In his army, you tell right away that he's the master. Don't look in that direction, and you won't be nizai. You're talking about human beings. It's impossible to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu and live, and therefore Ben Zayman, the others, they peaked a little bit, and they got very nizik. Either they died or they got nizik. Rabbi Kiva knew not to look in that direction.
It's asking more, how do you know not to look in that specific place?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How did he know not to look at HaKadosh Baruch Hu?
It's not that they were looking, that they didn't know not to look there.
Exactly. How did Rabbi Kiva know not to look, and they were nichshal and they looked? They didn't want to look at. They know you lo yirani adam v'chay. They didn't realize that that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He darshan that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has an ice, and therefore he right away, as soon, and we're going to see in a second, here's maybe it's a little bit better. Yeah, this is ice and S. Rabbi Chia bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yochanan. That's already two chashidish. Rabbi Chia bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Loi v'ruach Hashem. Hashem is not in the wind. He's not beruach. V'achar ruach rash. And after the wind, there's going to be an earthquake. Like barash Hashem. This is by Eliyahu Novi. Don't think HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the earthquake. No. V'achar rash eish. And after the earthquake, there's fire. Loi beis Hashem. V'achar eish called mavadaka. Oh. And after the fire, complete silence. V'hine Hashem over. So in Mela, when Rebbe Akiva was going in there, whether his feet were on the ground and his head was flying in space, or his entire body was up there with shemos. But when he got to the point when it was very, very quiet, it was noisy, and all of a sudden, he realized, that's it, don't look, close your eyes, get out of here. That was, so the simanim, there's ways to get out of it. There are 6 things that shadim, demons have. So shadim are humans that got stuck by Maaseh Bereshis. As Shabbos came in, the Bria stopped. So they were stuck. They're somewhat human, somewhat like Malach HaSharis, one and one. And this gives us a better outlook of what they are. According to most Rishonim, it's literally. A shade has wings, and therefore they could get from one place to the other. They could live anywhere. They could live in a desert. They could go through a little hole. They're like malachim. And they know the future. As the Gemara, nobody knows the future. Like we had in the beginning of brachas. There are rumors that happen right before something happens, and they're able to hear those. Though the noise that's going on. Tomorrow, so and so is going to die. You hear things that are going to happen within that period, not in 6 months from now. Right there, so that they're able to hear like a malach. They eat and drink like humans. And they have children like human beings. We actually learned that it's possible to have relations with a shed. People get confused sometimes. They think they're with a human being, but it's really a shed, etc. A human being could impregnate a shed. We learned that. And they have a limit to their lifespan. They die. Taisa says they also sleep. They also go to the bathroom. The Gemara could have said it's included. Now, human beings, let's think about a human being. 3 things were similar to malachim. We have das, we can figure things out, not like an animal. And they walk upright. And they could speak Lashon HaKodesh. They could speak other language, they could speak like a malach. But a chaya can't. We eat and drink, not like a malach. And we have children. Go to the bathroom. We learned in the Mishnah, if you look at these, literally, you stare at these 4 things, it's better that you shouldn't have been created. You want to know what's above and the Rekia and below, malach or l'chai. And what's going to happen? Fine. What happened in the past? What's the difference? No, it's not good to think backwards. Build me a big palace, ala ashpa, on a, what is it called? A
garbage heap.
Garbage heap, yeah, but what are they called today? A landfill. That's the word I was looking for. Landfill. I just already made a bracha. Okay, landfill. Imagine your big pals on a landfill. So you don't want people to go back and talk about, the landfill that was. It's going to ruin the whole palace for the king. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Harry.
From?
White Plains, New York.
Harry what?
Harry Pell.
Pell. Shalom Aleichem. You? What's your name?
My name is Nami.
Nami? Nachman. Pell. Also from? Very nice. Nice to meet you. So this is not 100% a mashal, but it just means don't look backwards, because once you look backwards, you might be mevayish HaKadosh Baruch Hu by asking questions that you shouldn't be asking. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want you to talk about what happened in the beginning. If you don't give respect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's better that you shouldn't have been born. So this is very difficult because we just had it a few weeks ago, beautiful rainbow, and look. So is that a big problem? What? So Baruch Hashem, I found, because I looked in the Mishnah yesterday, he says, I thought maybe the Drisha will give some Aterim. No, couldn't find any Aterim. It's also to look at the rainbow. But there is Ater. You let it glance, you let it look and say a bracha. Some say it's a mitzvah to look to say the bracha, but don't look, don't stare at it, don't be mistaka. Mistaka means to look into it.
You're also not supposed to tell us.
But what about the mitzvah? Be mizakeh them a mitzvah.
And only if you saw the whole thing, right? You have to see the whole
It's
sharing bad news.
What was the halach that I saw that was interesting? Maybe that's the halach that I saw, that if you're missing a piece, maybe you shouldn't say a bracha. It's such a shita. Okay. Rav Yosef Amar Zeh Ha'over Aveira B'Seiser. Rabbi Boy said, shh. A person that's over an Aveira, make me do the dirty work. Ha'over Aveira B'Seiser. A person that shouldn't have been born is somebody that does an Aveira B'Seiser. He goes in private and does an Aveira. We're going to explain what that means. We said that Yecheskel saw a resemblance, and it dictated. It's not a Kodesh Baruch Hu Chas v'Shalom. Kodesh Baruch Hu. Somebody wrote me an email. I didn't have time to respond. Chas v'Shalom, that there are Rishonim that say that Kodesh Baruch Hu has a guf. It means that if a person thinks of a Kodesh Baruch Hu in terms of a guf, of course he doesn't have a guf. A Kodesh Baruch Hu is not something that you can feel, but Yosef. So what's going on here is it's a mashal. You see a keshes, you see a mashal that the colors go into each other, whatever that means. One, it's not clear cut. One fades into the other. Keshet. That's the issue to look at. Who married mus k'fayid Hashem? Rav Yosef Amar Zeh ha'over aver b'seisek k'dur Yitzchak. Don't worry, Yitzchak. You don't have cover for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're saying, I'm not scared of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm scared of human beings, but I'm not scared of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Who's in the room with him? Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There, from him, I'm not scared. I'm scared of other people, though. The earth is our footstool. Eini, says the Gemara of Omar Rebilah Azokein. We learned this in Marikatan. If a person sees that it has too much of a Sahara, he should go to a place that they don't recognize him. I don't know if I showed you the picture last time, but it looks something like this. You should. Yeah, well, what are you laughing? You should look like this. You should cover yourself in black, and nobody will know who you are. And you go to a place that nobody. What? You can look at anything you want. Whatever. This is just a mashal. L'saber Eisen. Now the guys are going to say, how come you don't repeat jokes? Some jokes, it's for here. You have to be live to hear the joke. But it's a good aura. Says in the Gemara, so first of all, as we learned in Marikatan Daf Yudzayin, Rabbeinu Chanal says on the spot, and Rashi over there says on the spot, it doesn't mean that you do an Avera, it just means if you dress like this. Here, let's look at it again. You know what, I have another one. Just in case. So it just means that if you dress like this, what are the chances your Yetzer Hara stays? It gets rid of Yetzer. Here, free picture. You can have it. So Rashi over here says both. Rashi over here says, "Ain't that gas olav? He loses his cheshek v'shem yegel koyach yitzray." Maybe, but then Rashi finishes off. No. V'gamim yechta. Even if Rashi is mufurish, even if he sins, ain't adam noisin leiv, nobody's going to pay attention, and therefore at least he's saving the tremendous chil Hashem. And Taisus talks about it also. Taisus says, I don't hold it, that's the pshat. Over in the Sugis Mashma, he literally goes to do the Avera over there. Okay. Lekashio, ha, the Motzi Kayif Le'litzrei, ha, the Motzi Kayif Le'litzrei. I wish people would know this halacha actually, because I, in my lifetime, because I used to learn in Passaic, and in order to get from Brooklyn to New Jersey, you have to go through a very, very bad part of Manhattan. And I used to witness as a young Bechor from people in very, very bad matzavim, very, very bad. And I wish they would at least put a baseball, something. Don't, not the whole of Vush. It's like such a chil Hashem, I think. But anyway, fine. What?
We saw in Moikatan on that daf, which it talks about that Talmud Chacham that went off.
Yeah.
And he got stung.
Right.
He said he was zoche to be buried in a chashuva place because he did this, and because he went out
and did it right.
So the mice say he got killed.
Who knows what would happen without that? Yeah. Very nice. He's saying that in the Gemara Moed Katan says that he was zoche. Talmud Chacham was zoche. He got the one with the wasp. He was zoche though to be buried like he did because he hit himself. The Chil Hashem seems to be greater. Chil Hashem is one of the greatest, biggest averos. So to avoid the Chil Hashem is very, very important. It says, just because a person is over an avera doesn't mean he should be over everything. Just drop the book. Okay, I'm doing this avera, so that's why I should do everything and make it Chil Hashem and be Mechal Shabbos. And the person does one avera, okay. One avera, you can do tshuva for the avera. Doesn't mean you have to do everything. Dar Yehuda Rebbe Nechmeni Meturgem Rish Lakish. Call him Stagim Shloisha Dvarim Ein of Chaos. If you stare at three things, you can lose your eyesight. Bakeshes in a rainbow. Uva nasi, the nasi. Uva koyhanim, unbelievable, the nasi. It's interesting. This is like the mus of Hashem, and this is in Yecheskel. So don't look at the keshes. You should give from your hoid onto Yeshua. So he had a special something on him, and don't look at it. So what does that mean? Nobody ever looked at Yeshua. It means that a quick glance, and then but you don't stare at him. Like my father used to tell me when I was a kid. He used to take me to Rav Dan Segal. I was literally a kid. And he said, I want you to look and stare at his face. Look at his eyes. Look at the Yiras Shamayim he has when he sings and this and that. And I used to he used to train me to look at the Gdolim like that. Like, look. No, it says over here, do not look at a Nasi not. Because a Nasi has something that you don't look at. The Chsiv. And this, we had this also in Megillah, not to look at Kohanim, but when? In the Beis HaMikdash. What?
Intense.
What part?
Where you were focused on having to watch as a kid. If I was teaching
you. Leo, look. No, he did it in a great way. He said, look, you want to see the eyes of a tzaddik? You want to see what it looks like? Come. The whole zah. It wasn't like there. And then he built it up for 3 days, and then we went. There was a whole zah, and then he used to sing. He's still alive. You could go look. He's in Yerushalayim somewhere. He's an unbelievable tzaddik. So, in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, when they used to use Shem Hashem, so the Shechina would go on their fingers, so you can't look at it. What about in our days? So Taisus says, and we mentioned over there also, nowadays you're not supposed to look or take pictures, Donnie. Not that you took a picture, but somebody else took a picture and sent to you, because I felt that it'll give him chizik to see his son doing duchening. But it says in Taisus you shouldn't do that, because it says chadas. I'm ischaret. It says chadas. Unless you know that you could have, because it says over here, it says mefurish. Omar Chagai in the end of Taisus, klum Omar el mishum hesach. I don't want to say him like him, chas v'shalom. But there is a musig. If a person could look and still concentrate, then it's mutter because there's no shechina today. The whole point is to concentrate during duchening. By the way, I know somebody that during duchening, he's maver sedra, he's doing talking to his kids. You got to concentrate on duchening. It says him in first. The Rish Lakish had him in Turgaman, the loudspeaker. The megaphone, we called him. Don't trust your friend. Who's your friend? Rabbi Sa'id, the Sahara. And don't rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He's going to save you from your friend, the Yitzhar. This is a rookie mistake. The Yitzhar tells the bird, don't worry. You could do this Aveira, don't worry. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He's a Rachman, He'll be Moichel you, don't worry about it. Al Ta'amin, don't believe him. You don't have the right to say, but he tricked me, and he fooled me, and he told me so. No, you have to know. Don't trust the friend. If I am in private, who's going to witness? I guess you need witnesses to punish somebody. So the Gemara goes from less to more. It's unbelievable. The stones of your house are going to testify, just like the stones in your house are going to testify that you learned the daf in your living room and you did all these mitzvahs. The stones in your house are also going to testify about the averis you did there. Shenemar even mikir tizok. The stone is going to scream out of the wall. The chafis me'etzi anena, says Rashi, it's a chip of wood, is going to testify against you. This I felt. This is fascinating. Who gets punished in Gehenna? The Neshama. And here the Neshama is going to testify against you, which is really against itself. It doesn't have a choice. There's only emes up there. Did you do it? Yes. You can't say no over there. Shenemar Mishoicheves Chekecha, the one who lays in your chest. But it really goes like this. You have to read the last three words of the pasuk. Shemar Pische Picha, guard the opening of your mouth, from the one that lays in your chest. He's dangerous, you Neshama. He's going to testify wherever you go. You can't get away from him. You can't lock the door and say nobody testified. He's inside. He's going to testify. That's referring to the Neshama. The two malachim that go with you wherever you go, meet them boy. Didn't we say that they don't go into the bathroom? I don't remember anymore. I thought maybe it's a good place, maybe to do it. That's why people stay in the bathroom with their iPhones. But this doesn't help you because your own limbs will testify against you. Says the Heilige Mishnah, sponsored by Isaac Epner and Aaron. Lili Nishmas, Hagon HaChacham, Eliyahu ben Shafika Zatzal. I hope that's written well. Shafika. All right. So, Rabbi Isai, here goes. A couple of things. First of all, until this Mishnah, Klal Yisrael didn't have a machlokes. There's no machlokes in Klal Yisrael. Now, until Shammai and Hill, there's no machlokes. Shammai and Hill themselves, who were a zug, they were a pair, they had 3 machlokes in. That's it. 3 machlokes in. Then the Talmidim, Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel had so many machlokes in that it almost seemed like there were 2 Torahs. The first machlokes in Klal Yisrael is the machlokes of smicha. Leaning on an animal before you shecht it, you have to lean on it, smicha. We learned it's not makiv, is makiv, it's not makiv. Could you lean on an animal on yontif? Okay, that's number 1. The Rabbana. We're going to get into it. Now, these are the zugos. And these are 5 generations. In one generation, we had Yosef ben Yoezer and Yosef ben Yochanan. And then you have Yeshua ben Prachya and Nesarai Arbali. Yehuda ben Tavai is in the same generation as Shimon ben Shetach. And they argued. They said no smicha. They said yes smicha. This whole line over here is yes smicha. On the bottom, you see Nasi. If he was a Nasi, he's in red. If he's a Av Bezin, he's in blue. These are the Nasiim. Hillel Hanasi. Shammai was not a Nasi. He was Av Bezin. Okay. I just wanted to show you, I brought this, because I worked on this thing for over an hour, at least an hour. How? Because the Gemara is going to say that it's actually a little different. And I'm just showing it to you because I messed it up. I noticed this morning, you see how it changes? There's 3 blues and 2 reds. 2 blues and 3 reds. And it goes like this. I wanted to do something like that. You saw that? But it's messed up. It's messed up because it doesn't work. This, I only realized this morning as I was doing this sugi again. And I go, okay, Yehuda ben Tavai and Shimon are arguing. Baruch Hashem, I looked at it. And I was like, what is going on? It says Yehuda ben Tavai again. It doesn't work, this idea. It can't work. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get it to work last night, and I thought I did get it to work, and then I realized I have a much better idea. It came in seconds. This is that. And then it's like this. So that was today.
You like that in Panovich?
Oh, 3 over here. And then if you go like this, it's only 2 over here. You see how to put it on backwards, this, that. This only took about 10 minutes to make. Once I got the idea, it was not hard. I just wanted to show you what I go through sometimes to make a chart. And they're telling me, let other people make the charts. But it was a work in process of making it. I had to cut it narrow. It wasn't sliding, and it was a mess. And I did 3 sliders. Okay, just wanted to share that with you. What? Yes, he turns into a nasi to have bezin. Let's see it inside. Says the Mishnah. Now it's very good. We have the 3 zugas, the 5 zugas. You can look over here. We're going to go first. We're going to say all the loy lismoichs, and then we're going to go over to lismoich, because we're going to talk about the nasi. Nasi was more chashiv than av bezin. Goes first. Okay, so first goes loy lismoich. Why? Because he's a nasi. Yosi ben Yoyezer, what? On Yantiv. Yosi ben Yoyezer, thank you. Yosi ben Yoyezer oimer shaloi lismoich. You should not lean on an animal on Yantiv. Yeah. Why? Because you're using an animal on Yantiv. You're not allowed to ride an animal, so you can't lean on an animal. The Gemara is going to say it means you're leaning with all your force, all your might. That's why it's using. His zuk says lismoich. Yeshua ben Prach yoimer. Now we go to the second line. Shaloi lismoich. Netana arbel yoimer lismoich. Right over here. Yehuda ben Tavai yoimer shaloi lismoich. The third one. Shimon shedach yoimer lismoich. Now we're going to see in the Gemara: is Yehuda ben Tavai red? Is he a nasi? Or perhaps he's a blue. He's a av bezin, and his zug Shimon Shetach is the nasi. That's the whole machlokes. That's it. Shmai yoimer lismoich, Avtalyon yoimer shaloi lismoich. We know Shmai and Avtalyon, the Gerim, they were Hillel's and Shammai's Rabbeim. They say now. So now we go back here, because Shmaya is a nasi according to everybody, and he says lismoich. So he's first, and he's in this line. So we're going to switch over now. We're going to say his name first because he's a nasi. Avtalyon yoimer loy lismoich. So we're switching just the order of how it's going. Now. Hillel Menachem lo nechleku, says the Mishnah. There was no machlokes as long as Menachem was alive. He agreed to Hillel. There's no machlokes. It seems like Yotza Menachem. Menachem left. Either he went off the derech or he just left to the king. Nichna Shammai. Now Shammai took Menachem's place, and therefore Shammai oimer shaloi lismoich. Wait a minute. Now I'm starting with Av Bezdin. Says Taisves, because everybody in the world knows that Hillel was in head. If I ask you who's the Av Bezdin, Shmai or Avtalyon, I don't know. We don't know anything about Shmai and Avtalyon, but everybody knows Hillel and Shammai. Everybody knows the halachas like Hillel. Everybody knows Hillel is the nasi. And Memela, I could go out of order because Hillel himself used to tell Shammai, you're first, and he used to call him first. Now we turn to Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by Moshe Horn in honor of Chewy, Woody, and the Kale twins, sponsored by Moshe Kinsbursky in honor of Brian and Talia Edgar. All the names mentioned first in red were the Nasim. Ushniim lohem av bezdin. That's why when we went to Shmaya, he was mentioned first, even though he's on the list of lismoich, because he's the Nasi. He goes first. Torah Bana. Shloshim mizugas arishonim. It's below. Thank you. Shloshim mizugas arishonim shamru shalei lismoich. The first 3 over here in red say not to lean on animal yontiv. And 2, these 2, Shmai and Hillel, from the second pair, they say you should be soymech. They're all the guys in red, all the Tanoim Agdoishim that are in red are Nasim. Ushniim lem avos bezdin. And the second names mentioned in the Mishnah are all in blue, they're all av bezdins. Divrei Reb Meir. That's where Meir holds. Yehuda ben Tavai av bezdin, v'Shimon ben Shetach nasi. Only one difference right over here. Yehuda ben Tavai. Why am I holding this? I don't need this guy. Yehuda ben Tavai, is he blue or red? Remeir holds he's red. Chachamim hold he's an Av Bezdin, and therefore Shimon ben Shetach turns into red and he becomes an Asi. Therefore, says the Gemara, Bantan Allah the Torah Banon, Omer Yehuda ben Taboy, Ere ben Chamaim lo yorakti eit zoymeim, Lahaiti milivin shadzukim shoyoimrim. Okay, here's the story, Rabbi son. Here's a guy that two people testified, they have goggles, they saw that he killed somebody. He killed somebody. So what do? You're supposed to take this guy and kill him. But then, these two fellows, they say, Imanu Yisem, this guy with the goggles, just one out of the two, with us on a deserted island that day. And they said over here, how do we get more people to join MDY? That's what they're tiny. Okay. They say, you cannot be real witnesses because you were with us. But in this particular case, one of them was with us. Now, very important to understand. When these two guys testify about this guy that he killed, we kill these two guys. Unbelievable halacha. Provided that the Bezdin didn't kill him yet. If they kill him, and this is counterintuitive, if they kill him, then we don't kill them. You think the opposite. You think if they cause somebody to die for no reason, kill them. No. If you intend to kill somebody and kill, what's the svara? The svara is over there. We're not going to go into it. But what's the svara? Is there logic or not? To us, it doesn't make sense. Now, the tzdukim held no. The tzdukim held only if he dies. So that's what the Gemara says over here. Comes Rabbi Taboy, and he says, I want to take out from the hearts of the tzdukim. They hold that the killer must die in order to kill the edim. Says his counterpart, his peer, his zug. In other words, I'm not going to see the rebuilding the Beis Hamikdash. You killed an innocent man. This was a real story. He went ahead to prove a point, and he killed this guy. Yeah, listen. He killed the aid. I pointed there. The aid. He killed the aid. In this particular case, only one aid was Imanu Yisem on the island, and he went ahead and he killed this guy. That's not the halacha. The aim is and you don't pay, and they don't get malchus if they try to give this guy malchus for Milchal Shabbos, whatever it is. They don't get malchus until both of them were on the island. Both of them have to be on the island to be reliable for money. And he killed him. Says the Gemara. So he said, you know what? I made such a terrible, horrible mistake. I killed an innocent man. I am never going to paskin unless I'm in front of my counterpart, Shimon ben Shetach. He used to go to the Beis HaKfaros and cry, and people heard crying coming out of the Beis HaKfaros. They thought maybe the dead is screaming from the caver. Ask Tosfos, how is it possible? They even say a story about the Vilna Gaon that he touched Muksa on Shabbos and he fell to the floor. Says the Chazon Ish, it's impossible the Vilna Gaon touched Muksa by mistake. And we have a yisoid that HaKadosh Baruch Hu saves tzaddikim. How is it possible that tzaddik killed the innocent man? As Tosfos. So Tosfos says perhaps that idea of not, like the Chazon Ish said over there, is not, according to Tosfos, is not accurate. It's only that a tzaddik won't eat treif, like the behema of who was it that didn't eat things that were mussar or whatever. But another pshat is, that I saw from the Rishonim, that this guy deserved to die. Let's say he was a Mechal Shabbos or something. So he killed him. It's just not in this situation. He shouldn't have died from the Eidzayim. Okay, next. I can prove to you that's my voice. I'm crying. Teidu Shalamachu Meis. When I die, the crying is going to stop. Proof. It's not. I believe you that it's you, but your proof is terrible. Maybe you accomplished right before you died. He forgave you. Or maybe the minute you died, your Neshama is going to be brought to Bezdin. He's going to schlep you to Bezdin up there. And once you go to Bezdin, there's no need for the dead person to cry. Perhaps the dead person is crying all the time. And what you're hearing is cry. How can you prove to me that because you died and the crying stopped, it must have been you crying? It's just a theoretical argument. He's saying, I believe you, 100% it's you. If you're a gadol batar, you're a tana, you're one of the zugas, and you're telling me you're crying, I know it's you. Just your proof is very shvach. I just want to, if you want to be lumdish over here, your proof is shvach. Okay. By the way, they prove from here that after a person dies, you can ask mechila from a mace. Over here, the Gemara says, you went to ask mechila, and maybe he was meichelim. And real quickly, the famous story with the stipler. Mr. Letterman, who owns the shul where Reb Chaim Kanievsky davens, he used to sweep the floor and do sponja in the shul Erev Shabbos. So one day, a guy goes into the stipler and the stipler says, listen, I need you to call your brother Reb Avram because Mr. Letterman comes to me, maybe Rabbi Letterman comes to me every night in the dream and bothers me all the time. He says, my Neshama doesn't have menucha because I chepet a Bechor. What happened was, there was a Bechor learning in the back of Letterman on a Friday afternoon, and Mr. Letterman told him, get out of here, don't you see I'm trying to do sponja? He yelled at him. He raised his voice, chucked the guy out. And Mr. Letterman was very bitzar. After he died, he came to the style and says, do me a favor, have this Bechor come. And they went to his caver and they said, machalach, machalach. So anyways, you see that after death, you could be Michael or he could be Michael you, Bekitzer. Okay. Says the Gemara. My father spoke to that guy, so Mela, I like to say the story. Says the Gemara. Says, but here we're still in the question. Fine. But here's the Gemara's point. If you hold like this, that Reb Meir is of the opinion that he's a nasi. The one that made the mistake was the nasi. That's why it makes sense that he paskined Yehuda ben Tavai, paskined that he's chayiv misa right in front of the Avbezin, because he's the nasi, he's allowed to. Eli Amr Bono. Yehuda ben Tavai Avbezin. Let's do it one more time. Everybody take a look. If he's not a nasi, if he's a Avbezin, had the Avbezin paskin in front of the nasi. How's it possible? No, wow. We're going to have to stop here, unfortunately. The point is that no, what he's trying to say is, I'm accepting by myself that even when you're not there, even when Shim B'Shedach Da'avbez, yeah, you're right. What happened was, even if Shim B'Shedach was the Nasi, what happened was he wasn't there. He wasn't there, and therefore he passed in front. But I'm accepting upon myself that even when you're not there, I'm not going to be part of a bezin anymore. I'm going to make sure that you're always there watching over me. Rabbi Isai, I don't know, but there's no hechra. Have a wonderful day. Rabbi Isai, good Shabbos. Matzi Shabbos, Shir is at 8:30. Don't forget to sign up for the unbelievable siyum. Over 100 people signed up on the first day yesterday.